excited to be here this morning because this week has been all about risk taking. What risk are you taking to further your creative thinking? And today, edstoria, well, me, Abigail, is taking a risk. I am moving my chat and plays from Facebook to YouTube, and that's where well, obviously, if you found me through YouTube. And so that is where we are going to start to do our chat and plays. I realize that Facebook, not most educators and not everyone um, is on Facebook and has that ability to dive into a Facebook Live. So I am bringing it to YouTube in the hopes that it'll be more inclusive of the educator community and maybe those that are supporting educators. And so here we are. And today we are all about, um, I am going to hide that and show. This week we are going to be chatting about risk taking and playing with leaf doodles. And good morning, Patricia. I'm so happy you were able to join me this morning and find me on the YouTube Live. Since it's the first time I'm doing it on here, I'm not sure what the delay is in terms of what you're hearing me say to you. But I hope that I am able to respond to your comments in a timely manner, and we'll just see how the format goes. Um, and so we're going to talk about risk taking and we're going to draw some leaf doodles. So you might want to go grab some paper. This week, usually I just use pens, but this week um, I am going to be using colored pencils, and pens. So you might find some tools that are going to help you do some creative leaf doodles this morning. And thank you, Pat. I'm glad it is coming through loud and clear and great. I wanted to share with you, actually, everyone. Last week I did hand doodles, and if you didn't get to tune in last week, you might want to go back and watch that video. Right now, it just resides in Facebook, but I will get it on YouTube so that those of you on YouTube can see it as well. But I'll show you when I ended last week, I had this much of my hand doodle done. Partway through the week, I made a little bit more progress, and I am happy to share with all of you that the hand doodle is complete. And it was very fun to be curious about what types of patterns I wanted to create and to carve out a little bit of time. I didn't do it every day like I wanted to, but I was able to cultivate some time to do a little bit more um, every other day. I think I probably did. Thank you. Thank you, Pat. I really love how it turned out. I'm going to think about more ways we can do some doodles like that. It does take a little bit more time, so maybe that is something I do in a workshop that we cultivate over a series of workshops, because it did take me a few days to do that, but you can do it if you want to. So tune into that last week's video. And so I'm going to show you my 6-word story for the week. Being creative requires taking risk. So this week I challenged people to take a risk. I think as educators, it is really hard for us to step outside of our comfort zones, especially now since everything is just that much harder with remote teaching or hybrid teaching if you're doing that, or even if you are having to go in person and risk your life. So I guess we are all taking some type of risk just by the nature of where we are in this pandemic. But if you, Pat, or anyone who's watching, took a risk this week, it doesn't have to be a creative risk. I think We're just trying to, as creatives, we want to um, cultivate our risk taking muscle, because that is part of being creative, is all about taking risk. Um, hey Lola, thanks for joining. I'm so happy so many of you tuned in to help me test out YouTube, and I'm glad it's working. So this is exciting for me because I know I will be able to reach more educators, because not everyone is on Facebook. And good morning, Leanne. I feel so loved and supported this morning. Thank you all for joining in. Um, and if you took a risk this week and feel like sharing it in the comments, please do so. If not, you can just think about it in your head, or if there's a risk of something that's coming up that you've been thinking about and you want to declare you're going to do it, you might want to share that with us too. Um, oh, yes. Leanne, I'm so happy that you are learning this tool with me, and that you all are supporting me today. So, as we move forward, maybe you'll just take a risk today with whatever doodle you try to create. And that is going to definitely fire those creative thinking muscles and support them in many ways. So, with that, as we go along, maybe you think about the risk you want to take this week, or the ones that you have. Um, and oh, Leanne, thank you so much for sharing with us what you've been doing this week and taking a risk with. I know that dealing with past hurts is not an easy thing to do, especially when it's manifest in your body. And so thank you so much for sharing that, because I believe that in taking a risk to deal with that, you're also opening channels for your creativity that is going to help you further your cause of healing people in the world. So thank you, Leanne, for sharing that. And we are going to move into our play portion, which I'm excited about. Um, since it's fall, I thought, well, it would be really fun just to draw some leaves in whatever form you want. And in the theme of taking risk this week, I am going to do something I haven't done before, but I've kind of seen and wanted to try out. So if you want to join me, you might need, this might require colored pencils. I'm not sure how well it will work with pens, but it might. Um, and Pat is sharing a risk that she took this week. Um, and ooh, that is a very big risk. It's risky to like decide that you need to do something for yourself, and that taking that risk into doing that thing that you need and to enlist your partner in that process is huge. And again, Pat, thank you for sharing such a personal risk that you have started to take, and that I hope that in doing that, it is going to open up more possibilities for all the things that you are able to do. Um, Thanks for joining, Leanne. Thanks for checking on me. And um, bye. I think you already left, but bye. All right. So let's begin. Um, let's begin. So we have some leaves, and I've got my journal, which I love to put my doodles in my journal, but you can just do it on a piece of paper that you have around, wherever you like. I know Pat likes to doodle on her iPad, which I think is a great place to doodle as well. And what I wanted to try out, which I think is going to be fun, is to use a colored pencil as a backdrop. So, like, lightly creating like a color swatch, so to speak, with a colored pencil. And then, that's so funny. You can, I don't know if you can see the little outline of my hand doodle on there. But then taking that color swatch and taking your pen and drawing the leaf over it. So if I want to draw that one leaf in the top right corner, I'm going to take that. Um, I think that's kind of the easy. Well, I'm not going to say anything's easy. The least challenging for me, anyway, because um, everyone has their own challenges of what is easy and what is hard. I am going to hide my video for a moment just so you all can see better the doodles and what we're doing. So, but I'll be back. Shoot, I know why you can't hear me anymore. That is a good learning because I I moved my video off and I thought I could carry that out, but I have to be on video in the stream. And so that didn't work. So that is good to know. Thank you. So I was coloring and you couldn't hear me, but that's okay. Rectified now, I hope. So, Pat, if you can hear me again, please let me know that I'm back in there. So, for a moment, you just saw me draw a square and color it in orange, and I was kind of saying that uh, I don't know that adults use colored pencils much anymore, but I imagine they do now because there's so many of those coloring books, those intricate coloring books that you can do. So people might be using pens and pencils to do that. Um, and I was also saying that I imagine if you draw a shape and color it in using a program on your tablet, it's probably fairly easy to color in a shape. So thank you for letting me know. This is why I have friends helping me test out my technology before I start to invite more of the world in. So this is wonderful. Um, and so I'm going to, well, in honor, let me see, what shape should I do? I'm gonna keep with the simple still, and I'm gonna draw the one that has those two little leafy things. So there's one stem and then the other stem, and then this part's a little bit darker and lighter, and this part's over here. And then we have a little shape here, And then we have a bigger leaf like shape there. And voila. Uh, I, this is so interesting. I'm going to do another. Oh my gosh. You're like in your, oh, crayons. Crayons are great. That is a tool that probably crayons are great. That's a tool that probably no one uses that much. I wonder what is going on with my sound. It sounds good, so I wonder. Well, hopefully you'll be able to hear me again. Um, Maybe I need to speak up a little bit more in this uh, using YouTube. So I'll try to talk a little louder um, and see where we go. So um, so that's one thing you could do is like a shape, or I'm gonna go back to just having the swatch of color because that really resonated with me, just having, and it's kind of fun to be really loose with the color. And lo and behold, hand my hand doodle is coming through. I guess I was pressing really hard with the pens. Um, and so there's another swatch of color, and uh, this time, you know what? I'm gonna try putting um, oh, no worries. No worries, Pat. I'll be able to go back and look at the video and actually see if I was able to, if the sound did cut out when I turned my video off. But, um, oh, great. Hi, Shira. Again, another lovely friend supporting me in my risk taking endeavors and trying new things, being here on YouTube today. So, so happy to see you. Um, and yes, Shira still uses the crayons. Of course. Of course. I don't actually, I have crayons at work, but not at home. Might be a lovely investment to have. So welcome, Shira. And we're just drawing leaves today. Pat said she was in her car and she just had crayons. And I am trying out a new doodling technique. Normally, I just doodle with the pen, but combining colored pencils and pen today to draw beautiful leaves. So I am going to try out do something a little bit more complicated. I really want to try. This is funny. I want to try out this maple leaf, but it seems so complex. I don't know. Maybe I should just try, or maybe I should simplify. But in my head, I can't figure out how to simplify. So that's the thing. Oh, but I guess, all right, I'm going to go for it. So it's got a branch that goes all the way up, and then it's got some branches sticking out, and then some other branches sticking out. And each of those has a few little branches on there, and a few little branches on there, and some branches on there. And the stem is kind of thicker. And all right, here's the fun part. So what I would do in breaking down this maple leaf, which seems really complex, is that in between each of the sections is a little kind of V. So I'm going to start by making those V's in my sections. This is how I take, and this is actually a great technique to use with your wrist, right? When they seem a little overwhelming and you're not sure what you're going to do, break them down into smaller parts. It's a technique called decomposition. a computer science term that I teach my computer science students, but it works in just about every life thing. And then I'm just going to make my beefy things and connect them to my use and um, see what transpires in terms of how my leafy thing works out. So descriptive. Um, and I think that is happening and working out well. Super excited about my maple leaf. So we are getting on the 20-minute mark. So I am going to just do one more. And then I think we'll call it a chat and play. But I'm so excited that everyone came on, and hopefully you're taking some creative risk right now with me. Um, and if you're not, that's okay. You can take a creative risk whenever it feels good to you. And I'm gonna do the outline thing right now. And I am going to do it with an oval. So I'm going to do it with an oval, and then I'm going to fill it in with a different color, but I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not going to fill in the lines. I'm just going to fill around, which is an interesting technique, I think. A little hard to see the yellow, but hopefully you see it. And I guess I'll just continue with the orange pen and do one last little leaf. And maybe I'll try doing this. I'm going to try doing the one in the top right corner. And while we're doing that, I'm going to test out playing a little bit of sound. Um, okay, next time. Don't complicate. So when you're taking a risk, don't complicate things. Go with what is working, keep that going, and then next time add in a little bit more. So we'll add music in next time. But for now, I'm going to take a little stem up and create my little big leaf up here like that. And then add in some leaves over here and some leaves over here. And then I love this one because it's got these little delicate flowers on the ends. Um, Little delicate flowers. And then a few more leaves. And maybe my leaves go over the thing. Maybe, sorry, um gonna, yeah, move this up so you can see a little bit better. And then add in a few little flowers, a few little flowers. Oh, that flower didn't come out very well, but that's fine. And then I'm gonna make it go beyond, and then add in one more big leaf over here and one leaf coming up. And that is my rendition of the thing on the top, the top left corner. Um, so thank you so much for joining me today for this session of Edstoria's Chat and Play. It was great to have all my friends join me on this endeavor of creating my chat and play, taking my chat and play from Facebook onto YouTube. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Shira. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, Leanne. And thank you, Lola, for hopping in and supporting me today. And I hope that more of you will soon find me and join me in these lovely creative sessions of the edstoria chat and plays. And if you have something that you've done, please go into you can put it on the Facebook invite to the chat and play session for today if you're on Facebook, or you can tag at edstoria um, and put it on Instagram or Twitter, and I will be sure to find it and see it as long as you tag at edstoria. And in the bottom, if you want to go even a little further, just put added storia, hashtag creativity sustained, because we are in the season of being, I always get this wrong, sustained. And thank you, Shira, for joining me. And thank you, Pat, for joining me. And I hope to see some of your creative doodles. I know Pat was doodling along, so I can't wait to see what you created. And please join me next week, same time, same place. See you. Bye.